By all appearances, every fly angler is unique. Each has his own story, his own secret spot, his own unique casting style, his own favorite flies, his own well-worn lucky hat. But we also have a lot in common. Most would rather walk on uneven rocks than smooth concrete. And we prefer the feel of cork in our hands to a keyboard at our fingertips. We prefer the constant sound of rushing water to the unrelenting drone of traffic. And we prefer standing beside a river with a fly rod in our hand to almost anything. There was a few things that were kind of my favorite about today, and one of them was actually getting to the water. I love kind of going down these roads that used to be roads, but they're no longer roads anymore. Like they might be an old logging landing or a road to an old mine or something like that. And now there's like when Jim and I drove down today, there were just there were these alder trees growing right up out of the middle of the road. And that's one of my favorite things. All the grass that had grown up and the alder trees, it just showed that we were actually the first ones down there in years.
This was a bit of an adventure to get to the water. Skeed knew about this place from his former life as a logger, and I don't think anybody would ever find this place by accident. Skeed, he said, nobody's fished here in 4 years. So, boy, that's a unique experience.
There's a lot of water flowing through a very narrow spot, but as the water moved through quickly, there was a number of pockets, a number of little eddies that held lots of fish, and so those are the spots that we were looking for. We were looking for those eddies off to the side of the fast water.
Skeed, of course, is as always very helpful and showed us the places he had fished before. He knew where the fish would be, and that's where they were, which is usually the case when you're with a good guide.
It was just one of those days where I found myself moving around a lot. I found a hole up higher, a nice run up higher, and I fished there, and hooked lots of fish, but also landed a few and lost lots up there.
This is a great part about what we do, is to go to places that are hard to get at. Fly fishing is made up of a lot of things. So the places where you can drive your car to the edge of the water and get out and immediately start casting. Places where you have to spend a third of your day just getting to where you can make your first cast. And it's all good. And this was definitely one of those places where there was quite a lot of effort required to get to the water, but where it was worth it when we got there. I was startled to realize a while ago that I've been fly fishing for a little more than 50 years. I'm really fascinated by the history of fly fishing and how it's developed, particularly in North America, and who the significant people were, who the groundbreakers were for fly fishing in North America, and what they've done, and how they got us here, and how they taught us to, not just to fish, but how they taught us to think about the fisheries and think about the resource, and whose footprints we're following in as we carry on with fly fishing. It's interesting to see the different ages or the different generations of people who are fly fishing now. There's people my age and older who've been doing it for a long time, and then we get a really good perspective on, I suppose, the next younger generation, which would be Derek's. And then there's another group of people who are very important to the history of the sport, 20 to 35-year-old people who are just absolutely smitten by fly fishing and who are going to be the future of the sport. And I do think it's in good hands mostly because of their passion. And I think that generation is probably, along with developing the passion for fly fishing, they're developing the sense of responsibility to protect the resource, which is they have to go hand in hand if fly fishing is going to carry on.